Welcome, Poker Media followers. My name is Ben Blaschke, Managing Editor of Poker Media Australia, here with a very special episode of the Poker Media Podcast, because we're 2 days out at the time of recording from State of Origin, the long-awaited return of Poker State of Origin. I've got two very special guests with me. Of course, the New South Wales captain, and being New South Welshman myself, I may be biased, Didier Guerin. Didier, how are you going?
Hi, I'm doing well. I'm over here at WPT Gold Coast. Pleasure to be part of the podcast. Thanks for having us.
And of course, Australian Poker Hall of Famer, 2005 WSOP champion and Victorian captain, Joe Hachem. Joe, how's things?
Hey, mate. How are you? Yeah, everything's good. Thank you.
I'm good. Look, I think the first thing to say is that it's been a long time since State of Origin has been here. I think it's about 11 years now since we last saw the concept. Joe, I'm sure that you've worked closely with Tony on bringing this back at the upcoming APT Brisbane series. Where did the idea come from to bring it back?
Tony and I have been discussing it for ages. It's always been part of our plan at some stage to find a way to bring it back. It's just finding the right the right time and the right place to do it. And now with APT, where we can control our own destiny, we don't need permission from anybody to do it. You know, like when you're dealing with Crown or Star or whatever, it's always, you know, you're jumping through hurdles and stuff. We can just do it. Okay, we're going to do State of Origin. How are we going to do it? Let's just get it done. So it's a lot easier now to get things done.
Done it on your own terms. And Didier, when Joe and Tony sort of mentioned to you State of Origin and obviously inviting yourself, of course, you're an APT ambassador now too, so congratulations on that. But
thank you very much.
Now, bringing up State of Origin to you, I mean, did the concept, did that appeal to you straight away?
Yeah, it's an interesting story. I'll be very brief about it, but I was actually contemplating reviving it with another brand. I won't say who, about 3 years ago. And I got the call from Tony being like, mate, no chance. That's my baby. And ever since then, we've been kind of like talking about it, even a long time before I was under consideration to be an ambassador. And I got a sense of how important it was to both Joe and Tony. And I think it really spoke to me and I could see the vision for it really clearly. So I know it's their baby, but I feel like it's also partly, in a very minor way, like a little bit my baby now too, over the last couple of months, getting to work on it and collaborate with the captains and hear about who they're picking, and just hearing the hype here at WPT has been amazing. I walked past a 1K satellite to the main event and people were talking about who should be in the team or who shouldn't be in the team or who their hopes in there next year. And then I was playing the 20K and Kale and Travis Endersby and Angel and Andrew Moreno, who are all playing in the event, we're talking about it as well. And it's just so amazing to see the price point doesn't matter that much, even though it's a big buy-in for a lot of the teams, or even not a big buy-in if you're talking about Kale and some of the other guys, but everyone's equally excited about it. So I think we're doing something different and the concept's getting people really excited for the series.
Joe, what do you think is it that has made State of Origin special over the years, especially back in the heyday?
Mate, it's the same thing. It's that tribal element. We don't have it in poker at all. The State of Origin brings you a tribal element. People, you know, as humans, we like to belong to something greater than just ourselves. And there's none of that in poker. So this thing about being, you know, part of a state team, representing your state, in any sport is, you know, people get excited about it. And poker is the same.
What are your memories, Joe, of playing Origin back in the day? In fact, I don't think Victoria have a title yet, do they? So you've probably got a bit of a grudge
points
there.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. I remember
No
that. Yeah, we go in favourites every time and end up losing or coming second or something. But all I know is that everyone always enjoys it. You know, this time around though, Ben, it's a little bit different. This time we have a vision that we're in control of. And the vision is to actually build it out as something that you can qualify for through the APT, you know, through the results that you get. So to give the guys who are watching and people who aren't on the team this year hopefully give them a chance to qualify. Like I basically, a lot of the work around it is similar to the Ryder Cup, to the President's Cup golf, the Davis Cup in tennis. That's a sort of vibe I want for the State of Origin. And you know what? I don't even know that it's going to be called State of Origin in the future, because we've got 2 international teams at the moment. So, but something like that. But yeah, the big plan is to get it. So from the grassroots up, people are thinking about one day representing their state.
Yeah, that's a good concept. Yeah. So, I mean, in theory, Didier could be unlucky enough to have myself on his team one day, which would guarantee.
Well, if you prove yourself, I won't be unlucky. But
yeah, if you qualify and prove yourself, it'll be great. Yeah.
There we go. Joe, let's talk about that then. So you've got a vision for the format, for how it might work in the future. In terms of the actual format this year, that obviously is sit and goes format, a points basis. So people gather points based on their finishing position in the sit and goes. Talk a bit about the idea behind that particular format.
It took actually quite a while to knuckle down on a format, and then one day the light bulb came up. Just flicked. And I messaged Didier straight away and I said, this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
We're going to do 3 sit and goes.
I remember the exact conversation when the light bulb went off, because we were talking about the 2012 edition where it was a sit and go. This was a crown bend. And then everyone merged for a final table at the end. And Joe was like, why would we leave everyone not playing for so long? What if we just keep playing and having more sit and goes? And I was like, no, that's an idea, amigo. So all credit.
And basically, like I said, it's a lot of it's been influenced by Ryder Cup and President's Cup and stuff of golf, in that everyone gets to play 3 sit and goes. The points are important at every sit and go for your team, and we've added in that element of, if I'm the best player, if I score the best points, I'm going to get rewarded as well for the entire tournament. So not only am I playing for my state, but I'm also playing for myself, which ticks all the boxes for poker players now, right? But yeah, the format of 3 sit and goes and collective points, even if I say so myself, I think it was bloody brilliant. And it just came, the light bulb moment just came.
How's your sit and go game, Diddy?
It's a little bit rusty, honestly. I can't think of, outside of obviously satellites, which are fairly different, obviously. When's the last time I played a sit and go? I remember the good old heyday of Poker Stars and Full Tilt. And, if I might just mention Jonathan Karamalikis, who used to be a Full Tilt pro, literally played them professionally. There's 1 or 2 guys in the field, at least that I know of, who've played sit and goes professionally. And they're going to have big edges in this, understanding how the format works better than just a traditional tournament. But I would definitely be lying if I thought I was one of the favorites in a sit and go format. I don't know, Joe, who do you think's the favorite on the captain's sit and go?
On the captains?
Yeah. I think Jono might have the experience in the format. Maybe Lindsay's got the talent. You've got the pedigree, mate.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the favorite, that's for sure. I'm definitely not the favorite. Yeah, Jono or Linsky, probably. Probably Jono.
Yeah.
Probably Jono, I'd say.
If you can remember things, Jono. If not, possibly Linsky. Hamish is fantastic as well. He's second in player of the series here at WPT at the moment, and it's going down to the wire. He can still win today. He had to get 5th in the high roller yesterday, and unfortunately came 6th. So that was a little bit brutal for him, but he's going to the finish wire with Bert Perry.
I think all the captains are very capable. All the vice captains are very capable.
Angel as well, fantastic player.
Yeah, everyone who captain or vice captain, even the other team members, I've seen the teams. Mate, it's going to be tough.
It's going to be really hard.
There's not going to be there aren't going to be any spots where chips is being given away.
No,
I don't think so.
With all respect to ourselves, I do question if the vice captain sit and go might have the higher level of pedigree. We have picked our best players in that format, and it really shows. Who's there? Jungleman, Vincent Huang, Alex Trevelyan, Cale Burns, Andrew Moreno. Chen Dong, maybe no one in Australia knows the Chinese names as well, but he just won the 10K 6 max at WSOP Paradise. Who else? Joseph Sandev, 10 domestic titles in the last couple of years. Travis Endersby for Western Australia just came heads up in the WPT main event today against James.
Lethal.
So
it's actually a lethal combination of players.
It's honestly going to be one of the, I think, the best lineups I've ever seen at a single table, and I think that's an incredible achievement for this event to have.
I think the whole event's going to be
the
best lineups in Australian poker.
It's
full stop.
Yeah, as a neutral, well, it's amazing to look at the lineups you've got. And I was speaking to Jono Karamalikis, and for our viewers, my interview with Jono will run straight after I speak to you two, so we all run together. So you'll hear Jono's thoughts. But he does mention one thing, which is, he's absolutely. He loves the he loves this concept of sporting back out of retirement. Really, he doesn't play that much poker these days, but he wasn't going to miss State of Origin, which is great. So
that's the point too. Basically, everyone snapped up the opportunity to be part of it.
Yeah,
it's not like we've got a lot of prize money on the line, right? But everyone just said, "Yep, I want to be part of this." And that, I love that. That really excites me. And the fact that people are talking about it, who should be on, who, I'd love to be on there. This one, how do I get on there next year? That's exactly what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
Now the challenge is going to be formulating a plan to make that happen. And it won't be simple. It won't be easy, but we'll be able to do it at some point.
Now, Joe, I like the look of your team. It's a very strong team. Tell me a bit about, what was your thought process into choosing, who was part of that Victorian team?
Well, Kale is a no-brainer, obviously, and as my vice captain, a no-brainer. Daniel, my son, his form has been exceptional over the last couple of years. He's come into his own. And I thought it was worth giving him a crack. Luke Martinelli, he's got a really good track record. Like all the players, all the players are really good. They're just, I asked Hale to help me select who he thought would be the most qualified players to play on our team. And then Andrew Bogut as our icon. I mean, that's
the superstar icon, right?
That's huge, right?
That's huge, man.
That's like, and the fact that he accepted to come and be on the team, that's great.
You definitely won the recruitment drive in terms of the star icon, didn't you, Joe?
Yeah.
Had to really outdo us. If I may as well, just on Luke, like the guy barely gets out of bed to come play live poker these days. He's such a baller. So to recruit him is very much in the mold of what we were talking about, with Jono. Like these guys don't just come for anything. And your other player, Sean Ragazzoni, one of my good friends.
I mean, Sean is just, come on. What can't you say about Sean?
I honestly, I would never tell him this to his face, but I think he could be, out of the players that play regularly in all those like domestic super high rollers, he could be the best on his day, He is amazing. Whenever I see him in those big fields, he's got like 1/3 of my stack on a day one, and I'm like, all right, see you tomorrow, mate. And then I'm out on day two later in the day, and he's still got the exact same amount of chips. He's just still in the tournament, and he has this ability to just stay alive. And then when he gets chips, he's lethal. But I think his short stack game could arguably be the best.
Which is going to be huge for us in the sit and goes, by the way.
Yeah. I think he might well be your most well-studied player. That said, Kale's a bit of a human solver, so he makes up for any lack of study.
Yeah.
Didier, who do you think's your secret weapon in the New South Wales team?
Malcolm Trainer. He used to play sit and goes professionally. He's won a WSOP bracelet this year. He just final tabled the APL Million, and he final tabled the WPT Australia. I don't think he's a secret weapon by any means anymore, but he is super young. He's 23, maybe 24, correct me on that, but he's incredibly young for the amazing achievements that he's had this year. And he's someone who I've seen grinding, playing like low stakes cash at Star Sydney for like 5 years since he's 18. So I've seen him sort of just be like grinding those low stakes, and just like getting the reps in, and he's playing online all the time. So, I mean, yeah, I can't go past him for that comment this year. He's just in the best form.
I've joked that your icon, Rob, is really there to talk people to death. Is there
And that he shall, he was saying hi to Socia last night while we were playing. He was going around, Bogut was there, and he was just declaring war on all of them, like he's so ready. Like I have all the faith in the world in Spano. And you look at his Hendon mob for someone who's not a professional poker player, he's got like nearly 1.1 million in USD winnings. Like that's like he's literally there with a lot of our team members. So,
pretty good. Pretty good for someone who plays socially.
Yeah, socially, he's amazing. I'm really looking forward to having him and just hearing that, yeah, baby, when he wins a hand.
Oh, we're gonna bloody hear his voice a lot on Friday.
You will hear his voice
a lot, I hope.
Question for each of you individually, maybe Didier first. Is there one team, looking at all the other teams, and as we said, they're all strong, but is there one that stands out to you as you look at it and go, wow, that's a strong team?
Yeah, I mean, look, credit to all of them because I think they all did incredibly well. But one that actually got progressively stronger in my perception was New Zealand, because I think a lot of people know Hamish Crawshaw, a lot of people know Vincent Huang, a lot of people know Sosia Jiang, and quite a lot of us remember Paul Hocken. But the two names that people didn't quite know were Ryan Henry and Thomas Ward. So I went and did some research. Ryan Henry is an instructor for Run It Once, so Phil Galfond trusts him to do his instruction for tournaments online. Okay, and Thomas has been playing the biggest cash game in Macau for the best part of the last decade. So once you hear those stats, in addition to the already fantastic players they have, a lot of people have called them the favorites. I won't lie.
Yeah, you got any thoughts there, Joe? Do you agree?
I agree with Didier. I think all the teams are really strong, to be honest. The margin is going to be very small. It'll be fun. It'll be fun to sit there and challenge and watch the points board. I can't wait for the sweat for people just watching. And if you've seen, Ben, the point structure, we've added a half point to make things interesting. That half point is going to be the decider. I'll tell you right now.
I think that's
that half point is going to be a huge decider for us.
Tiebreaker.
Well, so here's my last question for you. I'm asking this to everybody I speak to for State of Origin. If it's coming right down to the wire and your heads up, basically for the title with somebody, who would you get the most satisfaction from beating heads up?
Rob Spano.
It's a tough one for me. There's so many of my heroes in this event, if I'm quite honest. Like, it's a tough one on the captain sit and go, because I think we're playing that one last. So I have to imagine those are the candidates for us. Jono was my first coach ever in poker in 2011 or something like that. So that would be an incredible spin for me. But as a New South Welshman in State of Origin, I think I'm obligated to say Alex Linsky. And seeing Queensland fall at the final hurdle, I mean, I don't need to see Victoria come second again. We've all seen that enough. You guys can let Queensland feel the max pain this year.
Yeah,
we're going to win out, buddy.
That's very possible with your roster.
And I hope the sledging has started already between the teams. I'm sure it has.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate that. Look forward to State of Origin. It's so good to see it back, and it's going to be a battle royale. I can't wait to see who finishes on top. So, thanks for joining me, guys.
Thank you so much,
Ben, and make sure you tune in to the live stream.
Absolutely, we'll do.
Can't wait.
Jono Karamalikis, it's been a while since I've seen you. How are you going?
Yeah, not too bad. Pretty good. Just here in Gold Coast playing WT. I mean, having said that, I only played one tournament, which is the main.
Well, I mean, look, we're going to talk State of Origin, but and we were just talking off air before, but haven't over the past few years been playing a lot of poker, but you're getting back into it a bit.
Yeah, Didier, he asked me when I was in Vegas, which I was weirdly not there for poker, even though the World Series is on. And I was just like, oh yeah, I love the idea of State of Origin. So I don't know, I was just like, yeah, we need to get this back up, because I feel like there's not enough of a team component in poker, and I think it's like a way better way to make people get around it and have a lot more fun and be social, rather than people chucking on headphones and grinding at a main event for like 3 days straight.
Yeah. So that was a bit of a lure to get you back in, was it? The team aspect of
He
it.
lured me. He lured me in. He did, and it worked.
Yeah.
I'm actually really looking forward to it.
Look, you're one of the, I guess there's a handful of guys playing the State of Origin that have been there before. I think it's been 11 years since the last State of Origin in poker. It's certainly a long time ago. What are your
Has it been that long?
of playing Origin back in those heydays?
Has it actually been 11 years?
I believe so.
God, how old am I? That's kind of scary.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was my memories of it? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I swear there's been one before that, but I do remember one in Melbourne, and I was playing against Tom Grigg, and I was like, "Oh, I'll be back in a sec," and he blinded me out. The dog. He blinded me out. No. But we're all good. We're actually staying with him now. But yeah, he brought that up the other night, so I thought I'd share it. I don't honestly remember it that well. I just kind of remember it was a team component, and everyone was like sweating each other, and it's just like way more fun format, I think. And like if you can turn poker into a team game, I think that's like just way better for everyone.
Yeah.
Obviously not always, but having the rare event like State of Origin, especially, I think, yeah, there needs to be something like that.
And South Australia, I mean, you've won a couple of titles too over the years, so you got a bit of a history in this format.
Yeah, I don't actually think I played in the last one. I don't know what I was doing, but I reckon the SA guys won one year after. It was I think it was like run by Fred, and a bunch of those guys won it.
Yeah.
So I reckon the one that you might be talking about that I played somehow would have been even longer than 11 years ago.
Wow, that is scary, isn't it? I mean, I remember you and
Yeah,
I catching up back in those
it is quite scary.
glory days. It's amazing how long that goes back. Wow.
Oh, well, the scary part is I feel exactly the same as I did back then. So
Now the scary part is you look exactly the same. So that's a
do you
scary
reckon?
part. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the beard might
Too
be
kind to me.
longer, but yeah, much the same.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that.
So, Jono, let's talk a bit about the South Australian team. And I mean, first of all, so you've been roped in as captain, so responsibility on your shoulders. Tell me about picking your team. What sort of thought process went into it, and tell me a bit about the players that are in your team and why you chose them.
Yeah, well, I'm quite good friends with a few of the guys on the team, and I remember Didier actually messaged me while I was in Adelaide, and I kind of like had forgotten about it because I'd just gone back from America, and I was having lunch with Joe, Tony, Rome's, and I was just like, oh shit, State of Origin. I was like, right, dudes, how many people do we need in the team? He's like, oh, like 5 or 6, and I was like, we got 4 right here. So I just asked everyone I was at lunch with, and yeah, because I've been a bit out of the scene, obviously, like the last 5-6 years, I guess I kind of have forgotten. I don't really know who, some of the best players are. So I kind of got a bit of help from the other guys that play a lot more regularly. Asked Chu as well, Jared, Obst. They're like, nah. And so yeah, I remember they mentioned Hegor and Chris, and I've actually played with both those guys before, and I remember that I thought they played really well. So I was like, perfect, great guys as well. And that's the team.
I mean, talking about some of those guys, as you say, I mean, Joe in particular has just been, crushing for quite a few years now on the tournament scene. So
Yeah.
an instant choice.
Oh yeah. He was my first pick. He's jumped into the role as the VC.
Yeah. And Chris, one of the old timers as well, has been doing pretty well as well.
Yeah, see, I miss all these things. I'm not even sure who's winning what or what the results are. I was kind of going by the word of everyone else, and then I guess my own very small experiences with them as well. And yeah, they're all like good guys, good poker players. So
yeah,
yeah, I think we have a good team.
Interesting. I mean, you and I were chatting before, saying that you're just playing a little bit more poker now than you have over the past few years. Just the past few months, you've been playing a bit. What are you playing?
Yeah.
MTTs or cash, or what are you playing at the moment?
Yeah, just MTTs. Yeah, I kind of do this thing where the NBA season ends and then I get bored and I'm like, oh yeah, wake up and I've got no purpose. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll play a few tournaments. And usually I play like 3 times. I'm like, nah, this sucks. I'm done. But this time I was, I've actually, I don't know. I feel like because it's been so long since I've actually played properly, I feel like I'm not really learning a new game again, but like, it feels new and exciting again, I guess. So yeah, I've just been playing a few days a week. Just wake up, nothing on, fire up some tournaments.
No.
Yeah, and I've actually been enjoying it. So this is good. I haven't had this feeling in a while.
Has the game changed, do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's changed. Not, it's obviously still the same game, but like, yeah, I've just kind of noticed there's a fair few, differences in I'd say bet sizing mostly.
Yeah.
Obviously people like studying up heaps more now, and the GTO style of gameplay is really in full force. But I mean, I don't think it's changed like so dramatically that like, I mean, to be honest, I was going to say that you can't beat it, but when I first played for the first couple of weeks, I felt like the biggest fish. Like I've like forgotten what I did in every single spot, like what percent size I should bet on each street, like on certain board textures. And yeah, I felt a bit lost. But after playing for a while, I don't know, I started to feel comfortable again and started getting into it a bit more.
Sure. Now, the State of Origin, it's a sit and go format. So each player obviously plays 3 sit and goes. What are your sort of thoughts heading in around? Have you got so many thoughts around what your strategy will be when you play, or what you're expecting perhaps from the other teams?
I think the strategy completely depends on the point structure. If it's like a pretty flat payout structure or point structure, kind of thing, it like favors a bit more of a conservative approach. But if it's top heavy like a tournament usually is, then I think a more aggressive approach would be better. But I've seen a couple of drafts of the points system, and they're both pretty different. One was more of a conservative, and the newer one that I've just seen recently would definitely favour more aggressive play to try and get first.
Yeah, I think there'll be a bit of action. Looking through the other teams, Jono, is there anybody that stands out as looking pretty tough?
Yeah, I reckon the New Zealand team's the best team, pretty clearly. But we're playing turbo sit and go, so who cares?
What do you think would happen?
Yeah.
Right.
I think whoever, everyone's like pretty solid. Like, there's really good players in every team. So like, I just think most likely whoever gets the luckiest will win because everyone's, very good. I just think, if it was over an extended period of time, that New Zealand would probably be the best team.
Is there, last question for you, is there one team that you'd most like to take down? Is there someone you'd like to face heads up with a title on the line and take them down?
Didier. Nah, I'm not too fussed really. It's pretty cool that Andrew Bogut's playing though.
That is actually, yeah, that's a nice one. Don't know how we'll go against this lineup, but as you say, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much he plays or what, but yeah, it'll be fun. I think it's going to be like a really fun atmosphere. Everyone's going to have fun. Everyone's friends. Like, I think it'll be good.
Yeah, that's the point. As you say, it's all about having fun, mate. Good luck, Jono. I think it's a great concept.
Cheers.
And look, I'm a New South Welshman, so I'm backing Didier. But I hope you guys
Okay.
come a close second. So good luck.
All right.
Thanks, Jono. Dale Marsland, great to be joined by you ahead of the long-awaited return of State of Origin. I know it's I think you've been nursing that crown for a few years now too. You're pretty excited?
Yeah. It hasn't been the worst thing for it not being running because we've held the title for, I think, 11 years now. So We'll take it. Absolutely. Yeah, pretty pumped to play again. It was super fun last time, and I've been involved a few times now. So, yeah, really good to have it back on the schedule.
Have you sort of thought over the years that it would be great to have State of Origin back again sometime?
Yeah, it's a really strange thing with poker because you're never playing with a team and you're never playing with your mates. You know, occasionally you're on the rail supporting somebody, but most of the time you're just playing for yourself. So the concept of playing with a team of guys together is really exciting for me. I've come from a sporting background where you're always with teams, and yeah, I love it. So I've kind of always chatted to Tony and thought, when's this coming back, Tony? And here it is. We're just about to play again. So yeah, it's really exciting.
So, as I said, Western Australia are defending champions, although that was 11 years ago. What do you remember of, I think you were vice captain at the time. What are your memories of that win?
Yeah, look, it was great. We actually put the team together at the last minute as well last time. So it was in Sydney 11 years ago, and the team was just put in time with a few guys that happened to be at that series, and obviously all accomplished players, but, you know, not knowing we were even doing it, and kind of put the team together. And then it was the underdog story where we took it down, and yeah, it was really good actually. Some really great memories with the guys that were playing. This team's a little bit different, as I think everyone else is different this time. But yeah, it was great. I absolutely loved it, and looking forward to this next one.
I can't remember exactly who was on that team back then. Who was on the West Australia team?
Well, Jeff Lysandro was the captain, so we had him in, and then we had Ben Bredsell, Mile Kirstanovsky, John Ulftenkamp, Greg Carl, and Patrick Healy was our team.
Yeah, times have changed for sure.
Yeah, well, 11 years is a long time in poker. You know, I did see something. There was something on YouTube about it, and I just recently looked it up and saw. And there's actually quite a few people that from other teams that are going again, which is actually pretty good considering it's 11 years later. Because when you go to tournament, you know, you look at 11 years ago, that the landscape of players is very different over that period of time in poker.
It's an incredibly strong field. I mean, looking through all the teams, it's just going to be pretty tough competition, I think.
Yeah. I mean, there's Australia's best players and some of the best players in the world that are involved in it this time. It really looks like the standard's gone to a whole new level. So we're probably coming in as the underdogs again, I reckon, but it didn't stop us last time. And, you know, we'll have a good crack. And I feel like we've put together a pretty good team to give us a chance of getting a result again this time. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
But when were you first approached about being captain for this year's return?
I think Didier has taken some control along with Tony. So I've been chatting a little bit with Didier and Tony, and I'd say I couldn't tell you an exact timeline, but I think it's been in the mix for a little while now. So I've had a little bit of time to try and get the strongest team I can together, and I've had a couple of months, I think. So yeah, I think it's been talked about for a while, but in terms of definitively happening, probably, you know, a couple of months to get things happening. Yeah.
So run me through your team this year and what sort of went into choosing who to be part of that.
Look, it's worked out quite nicely that it's straight after an event which is in the same state. You know, being from WA, it's a long way to come, especially if you were coming just to play a one-day event. And we actually have a couple of people that are doing that on the team this year, but I think half of our team was already here. So my vice captain's Travis Endersby, who actually just came second in the WPT main event, like just literally a couple of hours ago, who's actually right here. So he's pretty pumped with a big result. So look, he's had some really big results recently, and he was a no-brainer pick for my vice captain. So Travis came straight into the team, and then he kind of was involved with myself in terms of just determining who else we wanted to go into battle with, and then you know, we went through and asked a few people, and everyone was pretty keen to play, and we've put ourselves together, and we've got our 6 players, and we're good to go. Yeah, so Travis is playing. I've got Corey Van Jalsveld, who's going to be playing, and he's already here. So and he's actually, even though he's Perth sometimes based, he's kind of Brisbane based, so it's convenient for him. And then 3 of our team will be kind of coming just to play this event and maybe a couple of other events. But they're making a bit of a commitment to travel across the country to play, and that's Sam Jeffries and Damien Stanley and Dean Cox. So that's our 6 for WA playing.
Yeah, tell me a bit about your icon, obviously, Damien Stanley. I mean, a big day for him, I guess.
Yeah. Look, he's really pumped to be playing, and it's great to have him on the team. He's been getting some pretty good results himself, actually. I think he did really well in the recent APL Millions, and so he'll come and be battling away and coming having part of a team, and he's a bit of an icon amongst the Perth poker community, and yeah, looking forward to seeing what he can do.
What about yourself, Dale? I mean, you've been around the scene forever. You've accomplished.
It feels like it.
Yeah. I mean, tell me a bit about your volume these days. I was looking through your results earlier, and I mean, still plenty of big cashes over the past few months. Do you think your volume is still what it might have been, back in the day?
It's a little bit harder for us in Perth at the moment because the COVID shut down now tournaments at the casino, and they actually haven't relaunched yet. So I think we might be the only casino in the world that didn't relaunch tournaments, really. So we don't have an opportunity to really refine the skills at home. We've got some pretty strong restrictions on like pub tournaments, so they tend to be very short structures and limited in terms of what we're allowed to win in terms of monetary value. So to be able to play, we have to be doing a fair bit of traveling. And I did stop for a few years, but I'm starting to make my way to a few series here and there. And I guess I've had a couple of little things go my way along the way. So I still manage to play, but I probably only do 3 or 4 series per year now. So hopefully Perth will come back so we can start playing in Perth again.
Obviously, the format for the State of Origin is a series of sit and goes, and people accumulate points based on how high they finish. How's your sit and go game?
Actually, one of our members, Dean Cox, has been organising some sit and goes in amongst our restrictions. So we do have an occasional sit and go happening in Perth. So I guess a few of the guys have been jumping in and playing that. So that's probably one of the formats that we are actually getting some practice in. But yeah, I guess most of the time when I'm playing tournaments, it's normally MTTs, not sit and go. So we'll have a good look at it and try and bring our best strategy and see if we can mix it with the big states and some of these country teams.
Who do you like the look of, or who do you fear the most? I don't know. But when you look around the other teams, who really stands out as being a very strong team for you?
Oh, look, they all look really strong. I mean, I know the Australian team's a bit better than I do the international teams because I've probably been playing with a few of the guys over the years. But I don't think there's any weak teams amongst everybody. So I wouldn't want to say who I think is number one because I don't want to give them some extra confidence going into the big comp. But I'd like to say they're all pretty good, and I feel like we're probably going in as underdogs, and we're gonna have a really good shake at it, and hopefully we can be the victorious underdog team once again.
All right, I've asked this question to everybody, and I've got to ask it as our farewell question. If you're heads up with somebody and the title is on the line, and winning this sit and go will win you the title, is there somebody you would take most pleasure out of taking down heads up?
That's a good question. There's so many guys that I've been kind of battling with for so much for so many years now. But look, in my opinion, there's 3 very big names that are kind of playing, and that's Jungleman is playing, who's obviously a huge name worldwide in poker, and then obviously Joe Hachem, who's Australia's biggest name in poker, and I'm a pretty big basketball fan, so Andrew Bogut's in there, and I'm pretty keen to be battling against those guys. So look, I love basketball more than anything else, so I reckon it would be pretty cool if it came down to heads up. I'm playing against Andrew Bogut.
That'd be great. Good storyline that would be, for sure.
I'd love it.
All right, Dale, thanks for joining us, mate, and good luck in State of Origin.
All right, yeah, cheers, Ben. Yeah, go WA, come on.